Hello and welcome back to Let's Walk Florida Northeast, the fall 2021 iteration. So hopefully by now you've watched the kickoff videos. So that was week 0, which was last week. And this week we are going to go ahead and get officially started. So last week we talked about kind of the background of the program and what the focuses were going to be. And this week we're really going to focus on setting those goals and trying to achieve those goals every week and making sure that we're tracking all of this stuff as well. As a reminder, my name is Ashley Johnston. I am a family and consumer science agent in Duval County, focusing on life skills and wellness on a digital platform. I'm also co-implementing this program with Alicia Strader, who is also a family and consumer science agent in Bradford County. We're going to kind of dive right in. And just to let you know, this goes along with your e-guide that you received via email, and there may be a little bit more information covered in there for you. There are some physical activities and some modifications and things like that. And if you review that and you have any questions, just feel free to let me know either via email or chat, or you can even call or text me too. So our lesson 1 today, we're going to focus on adult physical activity and nutrition guidelines. And this may be a review for most of us here. But a lot of times we know what we're supposed to do. We just don't cash that check, right? So we're going to do a refresher today so that we can kind of get ourselves set up for success. All right, action planning. So this, I just wanted to congratulate all of you if you're watching this. This means you have moved from the contemplation phase to the planning phase, and now you're going to take action. So we've really progressed through the stages of change. So if you're never even thinking about a change, you're in the pre-contemplation phase. If you start to think about, maybe I'll sign up for Let's Walk Florida, that's the contemplation phase. And then you move into planning, and now you're actually taking action. So congratulations. So I want you to think about your within 1 week goals, and I want you to make sure that you're communicating these both on the Facebook group and with your accountability partner. So if you don't already have an accountability partner, please make it a priority to get yourself a buddy. And I'm sure if someone already has one, they can welcome another partner too. We're all friends here and we have a relatively small group. So think about, what is one physical activity health benefit that's most important to you? What's one change you'll make to add more physical activity? What's a healthy nutrition choice you'll make this week? Or a new exercise you're going to try this week? And if that seems overwhelming because there's 4 different goals here, that's okay. You don't have to do all 4 of these goals. It's just a suggestion. And these are ways that you can think about your wow or within 1 week goals. So what's it matter? Those all sounded like kind of small goals, right? Oh, wow, one new exercise, what a big deal. Or, oh, I ate 1 healthy meal. Why does that matter? Well, I'm here to tell you this is why it matters. I started out there on, you can see the picture here. This was 2016 versus 2019. And I'm obviously doing this program with you all because I'm trying to get back to where I was in 2019, not just physically or appearance wise, but also wellness and mental health wise as well. So all these little changes, at first I started tracking my meals in my fitness pal, and then I started maybe aiming for certain calorie goals. And I started at the gym 1 day a week. I almost passed out at the gym when I first went. Okay. I had to pull over in my car after class. And then I went from that to being able to, you can see here on the left, running a 5K and finally hitting my goal. And that's where we really want to think about those little changes that add up to become really big results. And so that quote at the bottom, small changes eventually add up to huge results, especially if you can be consistent. And that's why this program is 10 weeks long. So we saw, the before and after, that's sort of my why, but that just really gives you a visual. We want to think about overall wellness, holistic health, and well-being. When I looked at that picture back in 2019, I was feeling really pretty good mentally. I was pretty active. I was going to the gym regularly. And we know our dear sweet pandemic came and that sort of derailed me in a sense. So I'm still trying to get back on track. So I want you to know that I'm in this with you. I'm very dedicated to the cause. But let's delve a little bit deeper and talk about why it matters. So if you were to do just 1 single session of exercise, you actually have some benefits you can see right here: reduce anxiety symptoms, improve your immune system, and improve cognition. That's from one session. And then if you keep those up, because consistency is really key, we know this, then those are amplified. So your regular to moderate, vigorous physical activity done on a regular basis is going to help you with your weight control and management. It's going to lower your risk of chronic disease like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and some cancers. And then, of course, you're going to have stronger bones, muscles, your bodies are going to be stronger, your mind's going to be stronger. It's all very good stuff. So this is the big why. This is what matters, your health outcomes. So you can be here for years to come and you can be happy and healthy. All right, so some physical guidelines, physical activity guidelines for adults. The recommendation is 150 minutes of moderate intensity or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity exercise per week. So I know if I look back at that 2019 photo where I reached my after I hit my goal, I was definitely making that 150 minutes, no problem. And now trying to get, the gym shut down and we were all locked in the house and then you're trying to establish the new normal and trying to get back into a routine. And I definitely was not hitting those 150 minutes. I wasn't tracking my food anymore. I wasn't going to the gym as often. And at one point it was even closed. At first, when it was closed, I would work out a lot outside, and then that kind of tapered off because I moved. And I'm sure all of you can relate to this. This is all very much pandemic related for me. So we really want to try to strive for those 150 minutes. And it's not difficult, especially if you start small and you carry on with those consistent changes. So when we talk about 150 minutes, we don't want to go to the gym necessarily for 3 hours on a Tuesday and call it a day. We want to spread that out. Okay. That goes with most of the guidelines that we look at for Americans. We want to spread that out throughout the week. So, if the guideline says that men should have no more than 5 drinks a week, we don't want that person to drink all 5 drinks on a Friday, right? That would mean like kind of every other day, maybe 1 drink is okay, as an example. Of course, we're talking about physical activity here. So guidelines also recommend strength training 2 or more days a week at moderate to high intensity for additional health benefits. So in addition to, you might go on your walks or you might do the treadmill, you might do the elliptical or something like that. You also want to make sure you're doing some load bearing activities to try to get your muscles built up and keep your bones strong as well. So try to aim for 2 or more days a week with moderate to high intensity strength training, as well as the moderate and vigorous exercise in general. So if you think of in terms of cardio, for instance. Now that we've covered the physical activity guidelines, we're going to take a look at the nutrition guidance for adults. This is something I'm sure you've seen everywhere. This is my plate. So when I was growing up, it was the food pyramid. And then they kind of made it into columns, and then that was my pyramid. And then they morphed that into my plate. And it has been that way since I think 2015. So if you're not familiar with my plate, I'm going to give you a crash course. And you can also go on choosemyplate.gov and find out a lot more information, as well as a custom tailored meal planning and calories and portion sizes and all of that individually for you and your body. So the basic outline of my plate is to start with these small changes, which seems to be a reoccurring theme of this week. And that's on purpose, because again, small changes amount to pretty big successes. So when we're dealing with my plate, we want to think about making half of your plate veggies and fruits. You can see here in the diagram, your fruits and veggies, that's half your plate. And the other half is grains and protein. So if you really wanted to kind of hash it out math-wise, a quarter of your plate should be protein, a quarter fruits, and then half grains and veggies. We know we don't get fruits with every single meal. We might not get veggies with every single meal, might not get dairy with every single meal. But if you can kind of just spread them out again throughout the day and make sure you're getting your appropriate servings, then you should be doing pretty good if you can build a healthy plate in this way. You want to choose whole fruits, switch up your vegetables. You don't eat the same thing every day. And you don't want super heavily processed fruits that are, like peaches and syrup that are canned. We want to kind of avoid those things because they have a lot of added sugar that we really don't need. And then as far as your dairy, I absolutely love cheese. I love cottage cheese. I love sour cream, all kinds of cheeses. But when you're looking at this, you want to try to choose low fat or fat free options. Not all the time, okay? We have to be able to live a little bit and have some moderation, but most of the time, okay? You want to make a cognizant effort to choose those lower fat cheeses. And then varying up your protein, that goes with everything you eat. You don't want to get stuck in a rut and eat the same thing over and over again. I know you can probably think back times that you were very successful with your nutrition and you had a routine. Maybe you had chicken and rice and broccoli every single day. And eventually you got bored with that. And then you kind of fell off the wagon, had a treat. One treat turned into two, three, four, five. And all of a sudden your consistency was gone and you lost your footing. And that's okay because health and fitness is not linear. You just have to recognize those missteps and kind of get back on track the best you can. And this is one of the ways we do that is by reintroducing ourselves, getting back to basics of the guidelines we are supposed to be following to be our healthiest selves. And as far as portion control, we always hear that old adage, everything is fine in moderation, which is pretty much true when it comes to food. It's okay to splurge, it's okay to get fried chicken once in a while, but you want to make sure that you're maybe following that 80-20 rule where 80% of your choices are more holistic and healthy, while 20% we call them cheats, but I don't even really want to call them cheats. They're just your normal way of living, and you're allowed to have treats, okay? Not cheats, but treats. And then eating and drinking the right amount for you. So my plate might look a little bit different than, let's say, my dad's plate. Okay. Everybody has different individualized needs. And my plate is a basic guideline for all Americans. So it's not custom tailored to you individually when I'm telling you these guidelines. But if you go on the website, you can absolutely get some insight on your individual needs and take some quizzes and do some meal planning, find some recipes and things like that. And again, that's at choosemyplate.gov, or you can even go to myplate.gov as well. It's always easy to show that my plate graphic. And then you always see this one here on the left of like a real plate. But I don't really know many people's plates who look like this unless perhaps it's a child and they don't want their food touching. I'm not judging. If you don't like your food touching, that's okay too. But in reality, it's going to look something more like this image on the right where everything's kind of mixed in, but you can understand how you built that plate and what sections everything fell into. So this plate specifically looks like this might be some sort of bread. So let's hope it's a whole grain bread, or maybe it's tofu. And in that case, it would be protein. Then you have your chickpeas here. So your chickpeas are going to be protein source as well. You have plenty of veggies, you got your broccoli, carrots, cucumbers, looks like some cabbage here. And this looks like some sort of brown rice or couscous, some sort of whole grain. So that's a good choice. And you can see they're missing the dairy, but are we really missing the dairy? Maybe there's some feta sprinkled in there. I'm not quite sure, but you could easily get your dairy serving in with a snack. No problemo. So just want to remind you, this is our official start this week. So this week you really got to start tracking. So hopefully you have your phone set up, or you have a fitness watch, or you have a pedometer. As I mentioned in the last video, you don't even have to have a smart watch. If you have a smartphone, most of them will track your steps as long as you carry your phone with you, and you just have to set that up. I do want you to make sure that you're entering your information online at this website here. And if you're not able to enter it yourself, then make sure that somebody can do it for you. And you want to do that weekly. So you'll go online, programs.ifas.ufl.edu/LWF, and that link has been dropped into the Facebook group as well. Enter in your time of activity every week. With my activity, it's really easy because Fitbit, I can just go into the app and it will tell me what my minutes were for my physical activity. Just another handy reminder, you want to check in with your accountability partner. My accountability partner is Tracy, and I snagged this screenshot from an actual text I sent her. I have my WOW goals taped up here on the cabinet in my office. And this week I'm trying to track my intake on my Fitness Pal, make sure I'm drinking plenty of water. I've had about 40 ounces so far. And then make sure I'm getting to the gym. I missed the gym all last week. And so I have gone twice this week so far. So these are 3 little goals that I know I can do. I've done them many times, but I want to make sure that I'm kind of hitting that mark as much as possible this week so I can go into the next week and set some new goals while also maintaining these goals, which are those small changes and being consistent to be successful. So next steps, this is another refresh from the last video. So if you're picking right up here, that's okay. You probably haven't missed very much from week 0 since it was just the kickoff. So by now at the start, we want you to have your personal goals set and reported. And what reported means is tell us on Facebook, what is your goal? What is your wow goal? What is your overall goal? Share your getting started photo if that's something you'd like to do. I shared my getting started photo earlier this week on the Facebook page, and I didn't like to take that picture of myself. But again, health and fitness is never linear. It's okay to start as a beginner every single day, and I am starting as a beginner. I'm back to square one, and that's okay. We're at week 1, so I'm perfect. So if you're comfortable sharing that photo, please do. And make sure that you do check in with your accountability partner. Let them know what your goals are for the week. If you want to go back to those action plans that we talked about, what is one exercise you might try? What's a healthy meal that you're going to have? And those are just suggestions. You can pick something that you're more passionate about, or maybe say, I want to download MyFitnessPal and give it a try. And maybe you do that. And maybe you don't like it. That's okay. You can try something else. This is all about finding the right path for you as an individual, meeting you where you are and walking together. And then again, submitting your physical activity through that website tracker. If there are any technical issues, that's okay. Just make sure that you're keeping record of your activity somewhere, whether it's a Fitbit or it's whatever other fitness app that you might have, or even handwriting it. In the last video, we did show the paper logs too. So if you need those, just let me know and I'll be happy to get them to you. And don't forget to stop by on Fridays and do the Facebook polls. It's a really easy way for us to capture the data that we need to capture so that we can know this program is working. And the program is not going to work if you're not engaged. So you have to be engaged. You have to interact with one another if you're going to be successful. All right, so if you have any questions for week 1, or if you missed something from kickoff, or you're confused about anything, or if you just want to chat and maybe you need some help setting your goals, maybe you want to do a one-on-one check-in with me or Delicia, we are here and available to you either through Facebook or our emails. Probably the fastest way to hear back is going to be this email address here for us. And but otherwise, we will see your messages on Facebook too. So I'm the Duval County contact, and Alicia is the Bradford contact. I think I also have a couple of you from Nassau County too, so you can feel free to shoot me an email if you have any questions. And with that, I will let you get to stepping today, and I hope you all have a wonderful week.